Hello, hello, and welcome to episode 141 of the Compassion and Cucumbers podcast. I'm Christine.
And I'm Sam.
How you doing, Sam?
I'm just fine. How are you?
I am well.
Glad to hear it.
We have some good things to talk about today.
We do. I mean, starting off, we can talk about not only, kind of the adventure that we had over the weekend, but also we can give an update on some of the stuff that we bought in our last grocery shopping adventure at the vegan grocery store in Trader Joe's.
So what do you want to update on?
Well, we had 3 products that we bought in that trip. We bought some meaty MEATI carne asada steak.
Yeah, the brand meaty.
We got a package of Renewal Mill chocolate chip cookie mix.
We did.
And we got some of Trader Joe's vegan buffalo wings.
Yeah, and we tried all 3 of those things, and
we did.
Let's report back on them.
Okay, so let's report back. What do you want to start with?
Let's start with the meaty update.
Okay, so Christine took the meaty carne asada and put it into essentially a burrito bowl. So we had greens and rice and beans and all kinds of veg and guacamole and sour cream and all kinds of wonderful stuff with the meaty carne asada.
Uh-huh.
And what did you think of it?
I thought it tasted really good. Mm-hmm. I thought it needed a little help texturally. Mm-hmm. I did cook it according to package instructions.
Yeah.
Stovetop in a frying pan, seared on both sides for the amount of time that they recommended. And I guess you have to keep in mind that this is created using mushroom mycelium.
Right.
And so it would be really hard to create a stiff texture
in the middle. Yeah.
Yeah, with that. So my only complaint was it was a little mushy.
Texturally.
Yeah, a little mushy. Now, I think I could solve that issue by cooking it as recommended and then cutting it and then searing off those cut pieces.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I think that would help a little bit with the texture, but the flavor was really good.
Oh, the flavor was great.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really enjoyed the flavor on this. I agree with you on the texture. It had a nice sear on the outside, but it was a little mushy in the middle.
Yeah.
But it's definitely something that I would try again.
Yeah, I'd try it again.
And see if doing what you're suggesting, searing the individual pieces on each side, helped it texturally.
Yeah.
Because if it did, I mean, this is really quite an amazing product. There's nothing bad in it. Like,
it's very clean. It's a very clean product.
Very clean product. Like, very low fat, very low sodium. Of course, no cholesterol. That's obvious.
Yeah.
But no saturated fats. Like, it's just an unbelievably clean product.
Yeah. People are doing some pretty amazing things with mycelium right now. So.
Yeah. So it's definitely something that I would like to try again.
Yeah.
To see if we can get that textural issue figured out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What else did we try? Oh, the Renewal Mill chocolate chip cookies.
Now, we mentioned before that we, generally speaking, do not do cookies from a mix.
This is the first time we've done cookies from a mix.
Yeah, the only thing we do from a mix is brownies. But yesterday we were kind of jonesing for some chocolate chip cookies, and it just so happened that we had the Renewal Mill mix. So after dinner last night, Christine popped into the kitchen and put together the Renewal Mill chocolate chip cookies. Now, what went into the mix?
You just put a little bit of neutral oil. I used vegetable oil and a little bit of water. That's it.
That's it.
That's it.
So super simple.
It's the same with their brownie mix. A little bit of oil, a little bit of water.
Yep.
Then you just stir it up, and they came out great.
They really did.
Yeah.
I was surprised. They were nice, solid cookies, but they had a nice chew. I prefer a chewy cookie.
Yeah, me too.
To a crunchy cookie.
Me too.
And so they had a really nice chewy texture, good flavor. Not quite what you're going to get from a truly homemade chocolate chip cookie,
No, but I think they would pass. I think they would totally pass if people didn't know you made them from a mix.
Yeah.
And another thing, they're gluten-free for people that are gluten-free. And it's hard sometimes to find really good gluten-free baking products.
It is.
So.
Yeah, it is. And so, Christine said that we should probably keep a package or 2 of the Renewal Mill chocolate chip cookie mix in the house, just because then if we're going to her sister's or to Trey and Savannah's.
Yeah, I have a number of family members that are gluten-free. So
we could just whip up a batch or 2 of these cookies and take them with us.
Yeah, they're really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I would highly recommend that everybody keep a package of the chocolate chip cookies by Renewal Mill, and the brownie mix.
Yeah, their brownie mix is phenomenal.
Yeah, good thing to have on hand if you need to bring something somewhere in a pinch.
Yeah,
So
for sure.
And the fact that they don't require any additions that you probably won't already have on hand.
Right. Chances are you're going to have vegetable oil in the house, and chances are you're going to have water in the house.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Yeah.
So those were a win in my book.
They were. I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
And then the third thing we tried was the Trader Joe's vegan buffalo wings.
Yes, and we had those on top of a salad.
Yeah.
Last night.
Yeah.
Yep. Christine made her homemade cashew ranch dressing.
I did.
To go with it, which is one of my favorite dressings of hers. And we don't have it very often, so it was
I don't
really
make it real
a treat.
often.
Yeah.
What did you think about these wings? I thought they were a little odd.
I mean, they were a little odd. I mean, I think it's because whenever we do a chicken replacer, generally speaking, we do a nugget, and a nugget has a certain consistency.
Yeah.
And we do specific brands of nuggets, and we're used to the specific consistencies of those brands of nuggets, whether it's the Dino Buddies or it's the Don't Be Chicken from Wegmans.
Right, the Wegmans brand.
Yeah. So these, I think we were both a little bit surprised because we went into it thinking they were going to be cauliflower.
I forgot that they weren't cauliflower wings. I'm like, oh, we have that package of cauliflower wings. And then when I got the package out, I'm like, oh, these aren't cauliflower wings. It's a soy.
Yeah, it was a soy
protein based product. Kind of a long list of ingredients on it. And they're shaped really weirdly.
Well, they were shaped like little drumsticks.
But very oddly squared off little, I don't know.
Yeah.
They were bizarre.
Yeah, the shape was interesting. It didn't bother me in any way, shape, or form, but, it was different. And, one end of the drumstick was much smaller and narrower than the other end. And so you got some textural differences on both sides of the buffalo wing. I thought flavor-wise, they were just fine.
Oh, yeah, they were fine flavor-wise.
Texturally, they were different, but not in a way that bothered me.
No. And they do come with a packet of buffalo sauce, and I tossed them in that buffalo sauce afterwards.
The sauce was very good.
They were very crispy when I took them out. I did them in the air fryer.
Oh.
And you probably would have liked them better if I hadn't tossed them in the sauce.
If we just dipped them in the sauce instead.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
But the shape was a little off-putting to me. I know Sam said it didn't really matter to her, but it reminded me of, do you remember those, little pegboards that you would give little kids with a hammer? Where you hammer the pegs into the hole.
Sure.
That's what they looked like to me. They're just very unnaturally shaped.
Got it.
And so I would rather they just be blobs.
Yeah, I can see that.
They were just too uniformly and squared off. I mean, they were just too unnaturally shaped.
Okay.
For my liking.
And there you go.
Yeah, the shape turned me off.
Okay.
Anywho, but the flavor was fine.
The flavor was
fine.
fine.
Like I said, they came out crispy out of the air fryer, and they got a little bit mushy after I tossed them in the sauce.
Yeah. So I don't know that we would buy them again because as we're eating them, we're both going, we'd rather have cauliflower wings.
I'd rather have cauliflower wings, and I make them myself, and it's very inexpensive.
Yeah. Yeah.
So.
And seriously, I would rather have cauliflower wings.
I would too.
I've never had anything replicating a chicken wing that beats cauliflower.
I love a good cauliflower wing.
And it's not like we're trying to make the cauliflower be chicken. It's just, no, let the cauliflower be cauliflower because cauliflower wings rule.
Yeah, so that's an update on some of the things that we purchased and we talked about last week, but we hadn't tried yet.
Yeah.
What else is going on? Oh, so then we went to my sister's. It was their wedding anniversary.
On Saturday.
Yeah. And we were originally going to get pizza from a place called Sticks and Bricks.
Isn't it Bricks and Sticks?
Bricks and Sticks? I don't know. It's like a brick oven.
Something like that. Sticks and Bricks
pizza.
or Bricks and Sticks. I'm not sure which order it is.
It's a pizza place. And apparently they have vegan options, but they took the vegan options off of their menu and they don't really deliver. They do like DoorDash.
Right.
But on the DoorDash menu, none of the vegan options were there available to add, and it just became very complicated.
Right. And even where, how on DoorDash, if you have special instructions, there's a place to put special instructions.
Yeah.
They had shut down the special instructions.
Yeah, there was a little note that said, we do not accept special instructions. I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
Well, you're making this really difficult.
We wound up not getting the pizza from Sticks and Bricks because the ordering was a little bit
too difficult.
challenging.
I mean, I called them and they did say they still had the options, but they
Right.
made it next to impossible to order.
Yeah. But
using
when
them.
you're ordering for a group of 6 people, 3 of whom are vegan, 2 of whom are gluten-free,
Yeah.
one is both,
Right.
you know, it's kind of like you need to know what the options are up front, or at least it's very, very helpful to know what the options are.
And we
up
would have
front.
just gone to the place to get the pizza, but it's like completely on the other side of town. It's
Right.
like a 30-minute drive. So anyway, we decided to go to a place that was closer. It's called Pizza Pete's.
Pizza Pete's.
Pizza Pete's. And they did have a vegan cheese option.
Yes.
So we got ourselves a nice veggie pizza with vegan cheese, and it was really good. I mean, it wasn't like blow me out of the park. It wasn't Wurlitzer.
It wasn't Wurlitzer.
But it was a pretty good pizza.
It was a perfectly decent pizza.
Yeah.
The crust was good.
Yeah, nice
The
thin
sauce-
crust.
Yep, the sauce was flavorful. I love it when people offer broccoli as a pizza topping. Thank you very much.
Right.
I love broccoli on my pizza. And so we were able to get peppers and black olives and fresh tomatoes and broccoli and spinach. So a nice variety of veg on the pizza. So I really appreciated
Yeah,
that.
we ordered a tossed salad on the side, which
Which was great.
was really good.
Yep.
Yeah,
Which was great.
perfectly good. So that's what we did this weekend. Anything else I need to update people?
No, not really.
Oh, I wanted to let everybody know that Chomped, you know, the chocolate brand
Chomp.
Chomped, they reached out to us.
Not chomped, just chomp.
Chomp
There you go.
reached out to us, and they want to make sure that they're included in the second round of the cup off.
And we can say they most certainly
Yes,
will be.
I told them they will definitely be included in the second round.
Yes. So we know that the second round of the cup off will be Seventh Heaven because they are the current leader. We will do Justin's peanut butter cups and we will do Chomp. If there's another peanut butter cup brand out there that you think we're missing and that should make it into round 2, let us know.
Yeah, let us know.
Yeah.
Guess what?
What?
We have a recipe this week.
Yeah, we do.
Not only that, but Sam made our recipe this week.
I did.
She's holding up her end of the bargain.
When do I not?
Remember, we made that bargain.
I do. I'm saying, when
Yeah.
do I not hold up my end of bargains?
Never.
Exactly.
Well, let's talk about the recipe. So here is this week's cookbook challenge recipe of the week.
This week's recipe comes from Cooking from the Spirit by Tabitha Brown, New York Times bestselling author of Feeding the Soul. And the recipe we went for were her strawberry cheesecake cups. Now, I picked this recipe for a couple of reasons. Number one, usually when we do cookbook recipes, we're doing main dishes.
Entrees, yeah.
Or salads.
I think we've done
maybe a
one other
side.
dessert.
Yeah. And so we really haven't done any desserts. So that was reason number one.
Yeah.
But reason number 2 is because it's berry season.
Yeah.
So we have raspberries and strawberries in our fridge, which is always exciting. And so I decided, let's do something with them. And so I made Tabitha's strawberry cheesecake cups. Now, this is a super, super simple recipe. Not a whole lot of ingredients. So we're looking at graham crackers and raw cashews, vanilla plant-based yogurt,
Right.
avocado, strawberries or berries of your choice. She has a strawberry version and a blueberry version, and then some vegan whipped cream or dessert topping. And so really super, super simple.
Yeah.
And so you take the majority of the ingredients and you toss them into your blender or your food processor or your Vitamix, and you whip it all up until it's nice and thick and creamy. And you put it on top of a graham cracker crust that is made from some crushed graham crackers and a little bit of agave syrup.
Right.
And then you toss it all in the freezer and let it sit for at least 45 minutes. And then you bring it out, top it with some berries, some whipped cream, and Bob's your uncle.
Bob was our uncle.
Yes.
And I thought it was really good. Sam was a little disappointed in not the texture, but the fact that it didn't get real firm.
There were a couple of things that I was disappointed in,
All right.
to be completely honest.
Well, spill the tea.
All right. So, number one thing that I was disappointed with was the color of the actual cheesecake mix. So, the cheesecake mix is made from cashews and avocado and vanilla vegan yogurt and I used frozen strawberries.
Right.
And so that's what's going into that mix.
Right.
And so I was kind of disappointed that color-wise, it turned out kind of gray.
It was a pinkish gray.
Yeah, but it just wasn't a very appetizing color.
I don't think it was unappetizing. I think that probably comes from the avocado.
Probably.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't. Yeah, I think you're probably right about that. But at the same time, like if I was served this dish in a restaurant and I saw that color on the cheesecake mix, it wouldn't be something that I would be dying to dive into.
Yeah, and Tabitha says in her recipe, does she not, that you can either use frozen strawberries or frozen blueberries? And in her picture of the recipe,
She has one of each.
she has one of each, but they're very brightly colored. Well, not brightly colored. They're not unnaturally brightly colored.
No.
But certainly not, they didn't come out the way
Right.
yours did. And you used the same things
did.
that she has in the recipe. So
I did.
I'm wondering if she didn't add something else.
For color,
Or if maybe the picture wasn't just color adjusted,
that's possible.
to make it look more appetizing.
Yeah.
Photographers do that.
Yeah, for
Like,
sure.
Bump up the color a little bit on this and make it a little more appetizing. But I suggested maybe if we make it again and you do strawberry again. Because the blueberry one, I think the blueberries would take care of that issue.
Probably.
But if we make the strawberry again to get some freeze-dried strawberries and blitz them up.
I think that's a really great idea because
Yeah.
that would help not only with the color, but also with the flavor of the
Yeah.
cheesecake mixture. Because for me, the only real flavor I got out of the mix was yogurt. And it wasn't specifically vanilla yogurt either. It was just kind of generic yogurt.
Yeah, well, you've kind of muted that flavor with between the avocado and the cashews.
Right.
You're muting the flavor of the vanilla yogurt. So I would say you
And
can...
of the berries, apparently.
Yeah, you could make this without even a vanilla yogurt. You could use a plain yogurt and maybe add a little bit of vanilla extract.
Yeah.
I mean, this recipe has all kinds of tweaks that could be done to it.
Oh, yeah.
That's the one thing about Tabitha Brown's recipes, though. They're
Infinitely tweakable.
super accessible.
Yeah.
There's nothing complicated about them or anything. And like you said, they're super tweakable, right?
Yeah.
You can make this recipe and then go, oh, then I would do this and I would do this and I would do this.
Right. Well, and I kind of have a list on this particular recipe
Yeah.
with this. It's like, okay, well, I would add some freeze-dried strawberries for color and taste.
Yeah.
I added a tiny bit of plant milk because that was suggested in the recipe that you add a little bit of plant milk.
Didn't
I wouldn't.
need it. No.
Next time I would leave the plant milk out.
Yeah.
I would use a different shape glass so that you had better access to the graham cracker crust.
I would
the bottom.
I would use like a parfait cup or something wider.
Well, parfait cups are tall and skinny.
Oh, I'm thinking of, what am I thinking of then?
Trifle.
Like, oh, that's what I'm thinking. Like
Yeah.
a trifle dish or a sundae cup.
Something like that.
Something like that where it's wider and
Yeah.
you can blend
Everything together.
Yeah, you can blend the layers together with each bite.
Yep. And the other thing that I wasn't crazy about was the texture. So the recipe called for once the cheesecake mixture is in your glass of choice and ready to go, you pop it in the freezer for as long as you want, but at least 45 minutes.
Yeah.
So she says from 45 minutes up to a couple of days.
Yeah, she said up to a couple of days.
Yeah. And then when you're ready to eat them, take them out about an hour or two before you're going to consume them.
Which we did.
Which we did. So Christine took them out of the freezer while she was making dinner. And
I would say it was like an hour and a half to 2 hours before we ate it.
okay. And somehow the texture, and I didn't see them when they first came out, so I don't know how solid.
Oh, they were solid.
They were solid?
Yeah.
Okay. So by the time we ate them, the texture had reverted completely back to yogurt.
Pretty much.
It was even thinner than the mix was
when you originally made
when
it.
I originally put it in the glasses.
Sure, because now it's frozen
It's
and
frozen,
thawed.
so there's water in the mix.
Yeah.
So it got really kind of thin and yogurty in terms of the texture. And so I, who had been looking forward to a cheesecake consistency, it just wasn't there. It just wasn't there. And again, I think if I left out the plant milk, I think if maybe I added more cashews, maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Or maybe just try refrigerating it.
Instead of freezing it.
Yeah.
That's a thought.
Refrigerate it for a number of hours. beforehand. Because I know anytime I make anything with cashew and I refrigerate it, even sometimes when I make dressings, it stiffens up.
Yeah.
To the point where I sometimes have to add liquid or something if we're using it again the next day.
Okay.
So I think that's the reason behind using the cashews is kind of like a binder.
That makes sense.
But I think the process of freezing it and thawing it did cause it to
break down.
To break down a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like I said, there's some science that needs to be done in this recipe.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And so I would like to try this recipe again because I think it's got loads of potential.
Yeah. I thought it was delicious. The whole time I'm eating mine, I'm like, I like it. Meanwhile, but I think that's what happens when you make the recipe. You're more like critical of everything.
Well, yeah, because you never like a recipe of yours that you
I mean, I like it, but I'm always picking out either what
You're
I would
always
change,
critical of it, yeah.
Yeah, what I would change or what I didn't like about it. And I think when somebody else makes something for you, you're just like, this is good. I like it.
Yeah, that's a good point. Okay, that's fair.
So,
that's fair.
Yeah. But there's a lot of really great recipes in that cookbook. What's it called again?
There are. Again, the cookbook is Cooking from the Spirit by Tabitha Brown.
Yeah, and you know Tabitha Brown, she is just a force.
Yes, indeed.
She's got her hands in a little bit of everything.
All kinds of things.
Right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep, sure does. So, of course, there will be a link in the show notes to that cookbook if you want to check it out.
So that brings us to our Noteworthy section. Today in our Noteworthy section, we're going to give you a little update on something we talked about a number of episodes back. If you remember the vegan donut scandal.
Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah. Well, we have an update on the vegan donut scandal. It's not nearly as scandalous as the original story.
No, not even close.
No.
But according to the New York State Department of Agriculture and Markets, Savory Fig has put out a statement regarding the allergen investigation. The Savory Fig is working alongside the New York State Department of Agriculture and Markets and is voluntarily recalling their manufactured baked items out of an abundance of caution due to possible undeclared wheat gluten, soy, and or milk allergens that may appear in their baked products, including their donuts, classic frosted rolls, matcha cinnamon rolls, maple pecan oat scones, and blackberry crumb muffins. People who have a severe sensitivity to these allergens may possibly run the risk of serious or life-threatening reactions if they consume these products. No illnesses have been reported to date. If you purchased these items and have a sensitivity to any of the allergens stated above, we recommend you discard the items immediately.
Yeah, no mention of what the original claim was, that these items were actually items that came from Dunkin' Donuts.
No.
Which was pretty obvious in, I don't know if you remember originally, that the store owner that had purchased donuts from the Savory Fig got a donut that had a bunch of little sprinkles on it in the shape of the letter D.
Yep, purple and orange Ds.
Yeah, and that's what triggered the whole thing.
Yes.
Now, it's really serious business that the Savory Fig was then reported to the Department of Agriculture, because they don't mess around when you're talking about allergens and stuff. But the Savory Fig still denies claims that their donuts were actually Dunkin' Donut products, even though it was pretty blatantly obvious that they were.
And they have published a list of possible undeclared allergens in all of their baked goods. So people who have an allergy or severe sensitivity to a specific type of allergen, e.g. peanuts, tree nuts, which includes chestnuts, Brazil nuts, walnuts, hazelnuts, pecans, pine nuts, and cashews, milk, eggs, and sulfites, run the risk of a serious or life-threatening allergic reaction if they consume these products.
Let's just bear in mind that the Savory Fig was selling vegan baked goods.
Vegan gluten-free baked goods.
And now they're warning people that there's not only tree nuts, but there's gluten, eggs,
and milk.
So, something's not adding up there.
No, definitely not.
Yeah.
And to finish off their message, the Savory Fig would like to thank all of their loyal customers for their support during this time.
If they still have loyal customers, more power to them.
Yes. Well, and the thing is, the questions were only raised about the donuts. initially, because
Right.
it was the donuts that were problematic. They were selling donuts that certainly appeared to be Dunkin' Donuts to a grocery store, a vegan grocery store, that was selling them as vegan gluten-free donuts, which they were assured that they were.
But now they've recalled every product that they make.
Yes.
So
it makes you wonder a little bit, I have to admit.
It does. It's one of those things that makes you go, Yeah. So just a little bit of an update on that.
Yeah.
And we can move on to our main topic.
And what's that?
This week's main topic is vegan good news.
Hey.
Don't we all need a little good news?
Who doesn't?
I know I want some good news.
Good news is good.
What's good in the world of vegan news?
First, from Green Queen, Impossible Ranch.
And it's not a dressing.
It is not. Alt meat giant Impossible Foods is to transition a cattle farm into crop production for plant-based meat.
This is some fantastic news.
I love this.
I mean, if this doesn't make you want to run out and buy some Impossible burgers, I don't know what will.
Seriously. I mean, we liked Impossible Foods before, and we like them even more now.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I don't think that vegan consumerism or vegan capitalism is going to save the world, but
No.
they started their own animal sanctuary.
Yes. So Impossible Foods has invested in transitioning a farm from cattle production for meat to crop cultivation for plant-based meat, all while rescuing the cows in the process. You'd be forgiven for immediately thinking of a new vegan buttermilk dressing when you hear the words Impossible Ranch. But that's not what plant-based pioneer Impossible Foods is doing in South Carolina, where a now former cattle farm will sport crops like soybeans, sunflowers, and coconut trees. These will support the manufacturing of Impossible Foods vegan beef, chicken, and pork products, transforming the output of the farm from animal-derived meat to plant-based instead. In addition, the company is rescuing the cows on the property and documenting the long-term transition project on its social media to allow consumers to follow along. Impossible Ranch is a living and breathing educational resource where our commitments to giving back to the planet and supporting animal welfare are front and center, along with the plants representing key ingredients in our products, said Chief Marketing and Creative Officer Leslie Sims. We want to bring consumers along on this journey and help them understand how choosing meat from plants can be a better choice.
Yeah, this is really great news. Really great news.
It's fantastic. The 70-acre Impossible Ranch is located in the foothills of the Blue Ridge Mountains. Having operated as a cattle ranch for decades, the transition to crop farming sees Impossible Foods work in partnership with the family that has tended the land for so long. This, it says, helps honor the heritage while highlighting a renewed focus on animal welfare.
Go Impossible Foods.
Yeah, I have to say, I absolutely love that a commercial brand like Impossible Foods is actively talking about and doing something towards animal welfare.
Yeah, to transition farmers.
It's phenomenal.
You know, I think the best case scenario would be for Impossible Foods to do this a number of times.
Oh, yes. Let's really hope that the first one is successful.
Yeah.
So that they consider more of them, more iterations.
Yeah, so that this becomes part of their business model.
Yeah.
I think that would be just fantastic.
It'd be amazing.
Yeah.
So we haven't given you all the text of this article, and so we will definitely link to it in the show notes if you would like to read it in its entirety.
Yeah. More good news. This coming out of the UK. This comes from Plant-Based News. Historic UK live export ban is finally becoming law.
All right.
Yeah. A bill to ban live animal exports from the UK has passed its final stage in Parliament and will soon become law. The Animal Welfare Livestock Exports Bill will put an end to the export of cows, sheep, and pigs for fattening or slaughter. The bill has been making its way through Parliament since a 2020 government consultation showed that 87% of respondents wanted to see live exports banned. This is a huge day to celebrate, and one that has been long awaited, Philip Limbury, CEO of Compassion in World Farming, which has long campaigned for the ban, said in a statement. For decades, farmed animals have endured these senseless and arduous exports to the continent, but no longer. I am phenomenally proud of our supporters whose dedication and persistence have helped secure this hard-fought victory. That is great news.
It is great news. So up to the point of this ban, 1.6 million animals were exported from the UK each year, and they endured what campaigners would describe as horrific journeys that lasted many hours. They were crammed onto trucks with little space to sit, stand, or lie down. The animals would suffer from injuries, mental exhaustion, distress, hunger, and dehydration, with food and water sometimes not provided at all. Temperature extremes also would add to the physical dangers and stress experienced by the animals during transport. This included young male calves unwanted by the dairy industry. Journeys could last up to 96 hours, and at the end of them, animals could be slaughtered in brutal ways that would be illegal in the UK.
Yeah, and exports had been put on hold since December of 2020, but campaigners had worried that these could restart at any moment. Now that the bill has passed its third and final reading, that risk has been extinguished.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Love that.
Great news.
Yes.
I mean, I know we can't end factory farming today.
No.
Not tomorrow.
No.
Probably not next week.
No.
But the least we can do is stop these live exports.
Yes. It's huge.
Yeah.
It's absolutely huge.
And we can only hope that more countries will follow suit.
Absolutely. Next, from veganfoodandliving.com, Lidl Belgium permanently lowers the price of its vegan products to promote sustainable food choices.
Go Lidl. We always love Lidl when we're across the pond.
Oh, we do. Lidl is our go-to in Ireland specifically.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. We just love this company, and the fact that they would actively lower the price of vegan items to encourage people to make sustainable choices is just fantastic.
It is.
According to reports, the budget supermarket chain has matched the cost of its plant-based protein products to traditional meat in its efforts to encourage conscious consumer purchases. The news follows polling which revealed that well over a third, 42% of Belgians, said they would buy more vegan or vegetarian products if they were less expensive.
Yeah, I've read other studies, even here in the U.S., that said that a lot of people claim they don't buy meat alternatives because they're price prohibitive.
Right.
You know?
Yes. Some half of those polled, 49%, believed that meat alternatives are more costly than their animal-based counterparts. Now, to be fair, they aren't always.
No, not always.
No.
But that's the general idea.
That's the general perception,
consensus.
For sure. Absolutely. And so for a company to come out and say, hey, we are actively lowering our prices on these vegan items, on our meat replacers, so that you can make more informed choices and more like even choices. It's like they're leveling the playing field.
Yeah.
Which is just phenomenal.
Yeah.
I think that's amazing. Hey, you know what? Maybe when Impossible Foods has Impossible Ranch up and running and it's a success.
Yeah.
And so the crops that they use to make their product are right in the backyard. Maybe then they can start bringing the price down so that it is equivalent to or less expensive than
cow flesh.
Cow flesh.
Absolutely. That's that is the hope. That
like that would be so cool.
That cost is no longer a part of the decision. Yeah. That you can make the more compassionate, the more sustainable, and the healthier choice at the supermarket. So go Lidl Belgium.
Yeah, amazing. They're also creating more veggie options. So the retailer's in-house veggie and vegan range currently includes 23 products. And in addition to lowering the prices of its plant proteins, Lidl Belgium is also planning to expand its meat-free offerings. It says that by 2030, it will increase its share of vegetable protein products to 20% and its share of dairy alternative products to 10%. These new items, including legumes, seeds, and vegan options, will be offered in place of traditional meat, eggs, and fish. To work out the percentage share of veggie and animal proteins, the retailer says it used a methodology developed by the WWF to analyze all its food items to determine the vegetable protein content per kilogram. It now plans to pass this information on to consumers. And the price reductions were rolled out on May 15th.
Yep.
So they are in effect now. If you are in Belgium,
I know we do have a couple of listeners in Belgium, so
get thee to Lidl.
Get thee to Lidl for sure and support them in doing this. It's just awesome.
I think we need to make a trip to Belgium.
Just to go to Lidl.
Yes.
Yeah.
I do love Belgium.
I've never been.
Oh, it's so wonderful. You'd love it.
Yeah. Okay, this next piece of news is, hey, guess what? It's right here in the US of A.
And it's still good news?
And it's still good news.
I'm amazed.
This is news about a House bill that would ban wildlife killing contests on public lands.
Okay.
We'll take what we can get.
Yes.
You know, they're not banning hunting altogether.
No.
But this House bill would ban wildlife killing contests on public lands. Like I said, more than 16 members of the House of Representatives introduced legislation that would prohibit organizing, sponsoring, conducting, or participating in wildlife killing contests on more than 500 million acres of U.S. public lands. Wildlife killing contests are organized events during which participants compete for cash or prizes by killing the most, the largest, or the smallest animals over a certain period of time. Each year, thousands of native carnivores and other wildlife, including coyotes, foxes, bobcats, raccoons, rabbits, prairie dogs, mountain lions, and wolves are killed during these cruel and senseless competitions. The Prohibit Wildlife Killing Contest Acts of 2024, introduced by Representative Steve Cohen, a Democrat out of Tennessee, and other congressional leaders, would require the Bureau of Land Management, Bureau of Reclamation, the National Park Service, the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service, and U.S. Forest Service to enact regulations banning wildlife killing contests within 1 year of enacting the law.
Nice.
Let's hope that this goes through.
Oh, absolutely.
You know what? Contact your legislators.
And let them know.
And let them know that you would hope for them to support the banning wildlife killing contests bill.
Yes. Now, it's good to know that 10 states, Arizona, California, Colorado, Maryland, Massachusetts, New Mexico, New York, Oregon, Vermont, and Washington have already outlawed wildlife killing contests within their borders.
Yeah.
The Humane Society of the United States conducted undercover investigations into these competitions in more than a dozen states, spurring significant public outrage against the events. Most people, and I'll count myself in this absolutely, are shocked to learn that wildlife killing contests are legal on public land.
Yeah.
That's a thought that never would have even occurred to me, to be completely honest. Now, obviously, these kind of contests are certainly unethical and definitely unsportsmanlike, but they run counter to science-based wildlife management policy. And so that is why they are looking at this as a federal law.
Yeah, I think it should be a federal law. And the reason bills like this are good, even though it's not excluding hunting, even though it's not talking about animal agriculture, the reason why bills like this are good is because this is the kind of bill that everybody will get behind.
Yeah.
This is the kind of bill that non-vegans will get behind.
Oh, absolutely.
And then when they get behind bills like this, you can look at them and say, so you agree that cruelty towards animals should not be happening.
Right.
Right?
Should not be legal.
Yes. So these are good arguments to have, not arguments to have, but arguments to bring up. That if they feel that this should not be happening, then they also need to take a look at where their food supply is coming from.
Oh, it's a great starting point. I
Yeah.
completely agree.
That's why bills and things like this are really important, so that you can have conversations with non-vegans about this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And then it makes them think, yeah, you're right. It doesn't make sense that I'm against the killing of coyotes and wolves and bobcats and raccoons And yet I will go to the supermarket and buy a dead cow or a dead pig or a dead chicken and serve it to my family.
Right.
It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, the disconnect there, I think, could start to shrink
Yeah.
a bit.
Yeah, I think these are kind of mind-opening things on top of contacting your legislator and asking them to support bills like this, because these small steps make a difference.
Yes,
You know?
absolutely. There are quite a few co-sponsors of this legislation as well from all over the country. But regardless, just get in touch with your legislator and let them know that you want them to support this bill.
Yeah. And they are calling it the Prohibit Wildlife Killing Contest Act of 2024. It doesn't seem to have a bill number yet, so it's not that far along.
But we'll keep an eye on it.
Yeah.
And keep you updated.
Absolutely. So that's just some good news.
That was pretty good news all the way around.
I wanted it to be good news all the way around.
I love it.
Yeah.
Good news.
There's a lot of really bad news happening in the world right now.
Seems to be inevitable, really.
Yeah. I mean, it's gotten to the point where I don't watch any news whatsoever.
I don't watch much.
No. And I will often just Google good news just so I get some good news. I will Google good news in animal liberation, good news in the vegan world, good news in general.
Yeah.
You know, just give me some good news.
Yeah.
So that we're not always being barraged with this just negative stuff going on around us.
It makes good sense.
Yeah.
Smart.
It's good for the psyche.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I highly recommend that everybody do that. Just Google good news every once in a while. Help yourself out. It's time for our assignment Restaurant SOS.
This week, listener Dan Spencer submitted Fern's Diner and Drinkery in Cascade, Colorado. Okay, first of all, I just love the name.
The name, I'm there.
Yes.
I'm the diner, food, and drinks.
Bring it.
I'm there.
Yeah, absolutely. I hope they have a mocktail menu.
Oh, I'm sure they do.
But, diner and mocktails,
Yeah.
I'm in. Fern's Diner and Drinkery is located at the base of Pikes Peak, 4645 Fountain Avenue, Cascade, Colorado. Fern's offers some awesome vegan food, a full bar, and spectacular views.
I would imagine.
Can imagine, yes.
Yeah, being right at the base of Pikes Peak. Let's look at some of the things that they offer. First of all, let's talk about their name, okay? Who is Fern?
I would love to know.
Fern is a French bulldog, and there is a very cute picture of Fern on their website. She was a puppy mill mama who was bred for profit for the first 4 years of her life.
Oh.
National Mill Dog Rescue brought her from Iowa to Peyton, Colorado. Fern was all of my heart, says Cody Relo. From the moment I met her and became her kennel buddy, she was our first foster dog. She was sassy, loyal, bossy, and just about the best darn girlfriend I ever had. October 14th, 2007 is her birthday and the day that we celebrate. Fern passed away from breast cancer metastasis 2 years ago, and that's not unusual for puppy mill
No, not unusual at all.
breeder dogs. After a long life of managing her numerous health issues, we honor her here and all of the dogs that have passed through our hearts. Fern's Diner and Fern herself are energetic. They are both bold without being too much or too colorful. Both bring you into a homely vibe and provide warmth. The nature of Fern's brings in more rich sounds than the tin sounds of the city. Being vegan is a principled lifestyle, a religion, and we are proud of that religion. Being a vegan diner in a tourist destination and or at the base of a famous mountain needs to carry a confident, strong voice, like Fern. We want to lure you in with our looks and warm your soul with our hospitality. We are soft on the outside and bold on the inside.
I love that. Seriously, I want to hop a plane right now.
I know, right? So let's take a little bit of a look at their menu and just see what Fern's has. And this is honest to God diner fare.
Really?
Breakfast served all hours, right?
Perfect.
They have a country fried plate, southwestern skillet, country skillet, breakfast burrito, bacon, egg, and cheese Sammy, short stack of pancakes, Dolce de leche pancakes.
Oh, this is the real deal.
Yeah. The French toast. Well, they call it Frenchie's toast
Of course.
because Fern was a Frenchie. All the stuff that you would imagine that you would get at any great diner.
And
right?
I can't tell you how many times, like particularly after doing our shift at the Humane Society on a Sunday morning, that Christine and I are driving home wishing we had a good vegan diner where we could get breakfast.
Yeah, and they have vegan bacon, vegan sausage links or patties, vegan scrambled egg, scrambled cheesy moon egg. I don't know what that is.
I don't either, but I'm intrigued.
I want to. They have, what else do they have? Oh my gosh. Soups and salads, burgers. They have, listen to their starters menu. They have cheese curds, poutine. They have a chickpea salad dip. And they have a ton of sandwiches. They have a grilled cheese and tomato bisque.
I love a good sandwich.
Right? A vegan tuna melt.
Hey.
They call it their tuna melt.
I like that. That's great.
They have a fried artichoke sandwich.
Ooh.
Come on. What is that? A choque le bleu? Fried artichoke patty, hoagie, lettuce, tomato, onions, hot sauce, blue cheese crumbles, and choice of tots, soup, or salad.
All right.
Why is this place so far away?
I don't know.
And then, of course, they have a full bar. So they have cocktails and canned beers. They do have non-alcoholic beverages.
Yay.
So, yeah, come on.
Yeah, we're going to have to put that on our list. We need to get to Colorado.
Yeah, if you're anywhere near Cascade, Colorado, please check out Fern's Diner and Drinkery. Thank you so much, Dan Spencer, for tipping us off to Fern's, because if we're anywhere near there, we will definitely be checking them out.
Yeah, we're going to have to do like a segmented road trip.
I would love to do that.
Someday, like just get in the car and just drive all the way out west, hitting these kinds of vegan spots.
Well, I'll tell you what, we can turn our assignment Restaurant SOS into road trip Restaurant SOS.
Oh my God, yes.
You know?
We could have you, our listeners, decide what restaurants we hit on our road trip.
Yeah, I can just take the list of restaurants that you're all, and thank you, by the way. Everybody's been very responsive. I'm getting so many submissions for this. So thank you all that have submitted restaurants. But yeah, we could totally take the list of restaurants that you are all sharing with us and just hit the road.
I would love that.
You know, it'd be like a diners, drive-ins, and dives.
It totally would. Vegan version.
Vegan version. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I love it.
Hey, if you want to submit a restaurant for our Restaurant SOS, you can either text us by clicking the link at the top of our show notes on any episode of our podcast. You can email us at compassionandcucumbers@gmail.com, or feel free to private message us or DM us on our Facebook or Instagram.
Well, that brings us to our favorite part of the show.
You're right.
Must be listener shout out time.
It's listener shout out.
Just want to give a shout out to all my fans watching. I love you guys. I love you.
This week's listener shout out goes to Debbie Rose.
Hey, Debbie.
Debbie is an active and outspoken member of her local vegan community and recently sent a submission for our new segment, Assignment Restaurant SOS. Thank you for listening, Debbie, and thank you so much for all of your vegan advocacy.
Yes, thank you, Debbie. Thank you for listening. Thank you for being such a great supporter of the show. Send me your t-shirt size and address so that we can send you a Compassion and Cucumbers swag bag. You can send that to all the places I just mentioned before.
Indeed. Now, for the rest of you out there, we're running low on listener shout outs again.
We are. It's getting scary.
Christine warned you about this months ago. And once again,
you've been warned.
And once again, we are running low on listener shout outs. So if you would like a listener shout out, please email or DM us. You can also text us using the link
in our show notes.
In our show notes.
Yeah, it says send us a text, it says.
Let us know what you think of the show and tell us a little bit about yourself. And don't forget that a shout out automatically enters you into our Meeson Chef Knife giveaway later this year.
Yeah, and also don't forget that you can nominate others for shout outs.
Absolutely.
Yeah. You want us to shout out a family member or a friend, let us know their name, a little bit about them, so that we can shout them out.
That's right. Let us know who your favorite vegan is.
There you go. But it's probably us, right?
Cute. Very cute. I think not.
I kid. Hey, that brings us to our Vegan Org of the Week. What is this week's Vegan Org of the Week?
This week, we are celebrating Vegan Living Program. The Vegan Living Program is a 501c3 nonprofit organization that coordinates month-long in-person vegan mentorship programs in the United States. Founded by Robin Helfrich Morados and Aaron Marcus, they are comprised of 5 directors plus additional local volunteers. The organization evolved out of anti-globalization organizing in the Towson, Maryland area in 2003 and primarily coordinated anti-vivisection and fur protests. In 2007, they began their frequent vegan outreach and leafleting events and began to organize demonstrations for animals used by the rodeo and foie gras industries, in addition to fur and vivisection. They also worked closely with organizations in upstate New York on the Wegmans Cruelty campaign from 2006 to 2008. In 2009, passionate new organizers merged with longtime local event coordinators, and in 2010, they began organizing in both Baltimore and Washington, D.C. as Open the Cages Alliance. Today, VLP operates in both Baltimore and New York City and Long Island, New York, under the name Vegan Living Program. In 2011, they coordinated their first Vegan Living Program in Baltimore, a free educational program in which participants pledged to be vegan for 1 month, with the support of a personal vegan coach, free weekly educational sessions and materials, and supportive social events. In 2014, they added a second Vegan Living Program in Long Island, New York, and in 2018 added VLPs in both Rochester, New York, and Syracuse, New York. In 2019, they added a Vegan Living Program in Pasadena, California. The organization's plan is to keep expanding the program far and wide by working with existing organizations and solo organizers to set up regional VLPs based on their local needs and demographics. To learn more, or if you'd like to get involved, go to veganlivingprogram.org.
Yeah, and I'm sure you've heard us speak of the Vegan Living Program in Syracuse.
Absolutely. That
we have been graciously invited to in the past. And this is fabulous. This is a fabulous organization.
It is. It's just wonderful.
And I'm hoping that they just keep spreading and spreading and spreading. And I would actually even like to have a conversation with the Vegan Center in Buffalo about them possibly
starting a chapter of VLP.
Yeah. At least reaching out to the VLP people and asking them what all is involved.
Yep.
Because I think it's a wonderful community building thing.
I completely agree.
Yep.
And
the woman who runs the Vegan Center, Marcy, God love her. Mm-hmm. She's always looking for ways to bring the community together.
Indeed.
And I think that this is the Vegan Living Program is a spectacular way.
Yeah.
Because you have mentors and mentees and pledges and it gets the community involved. It gets the vegan community involved. It gets the non-vegan, vegan curious community involved. And I think it's just a win-win for everybody. Mm-hmm. So thank you, Vegan Living Program.
Indeed.
Yeah. Check them out. And if you don't have a chapter anywhere near you, look into it. Well, it's time to wrap this baby up.
Okay, then.
This one just flew by.
They do that sometimes.
I mean, I think I say that frequently, but sometimes it's more flying by than others. Like sometimes it's just like I look down at the time counter and it's just like, wow, how has it been an hour? Anyway, let's wrap it up so it's not even longer. I just have a couple of calls to action for you. We always ask you to please join the Agriculture Fairness Alliance's Vegan Voter Hub. We put the link in the show notes, so please click that link and join the Voter Hub. Subscribe to our show on your favorite podcast app and subscribe to our YouTube. And if you don't mind, leave us a rating and review because that helps us to reach more wonderful people like you. And last but not least, don't forget to text us some show ideas or recipes or cookbook recommendations. And don't forget those shout outs.
And with that, it's time to sign off. You have just listened to episode 141 of the Compassion and Cucumbers podcast, and there's nothing left to say but where cukes and compassion are always the fashion on the podcast.
Thank you, James.
Have a great week, everyone.
Okay, we'll talk to you next Tuesday.
We love you.
We do. Bye-bye.
The end.
If you'd like to support the Compassion and Cucumbers podcast, well, you can do that by hopping on over to our Patreon page and becoming a patron. We have all the recipes from our vegan kitchen series up there, and we'll be adding some patron-only episodes in the near future. So thank you for supporting us at whatever level that you choose, and thank you again for listening to Compassion and Cucumbers podcast.